This is our limited series, Ask an RD inside the Dr. Shannon Show, where we ask registered dietitians some of your most pressing nutritional questions. I'm Dr. Shannon. Welcome to the show. Welcome back, everyone. I have another Ask an RD. I've got Hope Brandt with me today. This is a question that we get a lot because in the Evelyn membership, we have a guide that helps people calculate their total daily energy expenditure, which is like your maintenance calories. Mm-hmm. And this is if they have a body recomposition goal. So if they want to lose fat while building muscle, it kind of gives them a target to shoot for their overall calories in a day. Now, what happens sometimes is we'll get people that come to us that are smaller people overall. So maybe they're shorter or they weigh less and their TDEE, so their daily expenditure calorie number is very low. And they're like, this doesn't seem right. Did I calculate this correctly? And this doesn't seem like something I can sustain. So this is a common question. What would you say to somebody like this?
Okay. I love this tool in general. I think knowing your total daily energy expenditure for most people is super, super freeing because you realize that most women, do not have to be on a 1,200 calorie diet to be able to see the results that they want to see. And honestly, to function well and to fuel your life, we need to be eating. And that's super, super important. However, for, like you were saying, a small sect of the population, especially very petite women, if you are looking at what your total daily expenditure would be and then also reducing that intake to see body recomposition results, if you're looking for fat loss, I think sometimes the numbers can be misleading in those instances because, again, these are just best estimates based on anthropometric data, like based on your height and your weight. It's hard to extrapolate like the same process for people who kind of fall in this outlier group. And these are the same people which, again, these are just outliers who, when they're experiencing body recomposition, maybe this small percent of the population that would actually see an increase in weight as they're continuing to gain muscle on a very, very petite frame without a lot of like extra fat to lose on their body. So I think this is a really individualized case. And it's one of those times where I think these people could greatly benefit from having some added insight from a dietitian or someone who specializes in being able to help create body recomposition changes that they want to see. But again, these numbers aren't end all be all. They're just a best estimate. So knowing that it might take some adjustment, and even if the TDEE calculator is spitting out, that your expenditure is 1,400 calories a day, which means you would need to be eating 1,200 calories to see fat, to be in a deficit to see fat loss, that might not actually be the case just because you're a little bit of an outlier in this entire process. So I think first establishing a maintenance point would be very, very helpful. So maybe try to track for a little bit and start at what the total energy expenditure calculator gave you and see if that's really your maintenance point, because it could be higher than that. It could be a few hundred calories higher than that, which would give us way more wiggle room than trying to start at a point that's too low. And then once you know what your maintenance is, making those adjustments from there. And again, you may be part of this population that looking for body recomposition results might be better suited if you were eating at maintenance and focusing on muscle growth versus focusing on being in a deficit and seeing the fat loss element, which kind of sounds like semantics, but I think makes a really big difference in this instance, because on one side, of this body recomposition scale. We're looking at the component of fat loss, and the other side, we're looking at muscle growth. So both of them contribute to improving your body composition. Not everyone needs to focus on that fat loss element. If you are super, super petite and very small framed, then focusing on that muscle building element could be more beneficial in creating positive body composition change without worrying about being in a deficit or worrying about really low intake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful just to kind of have them focus on maintenance for a little while and play around with like, oh, my maintenance might actually be a deficit.
Right. The calculator could have. Exactly. So knowing these numbers are estimates, being able to really play around with it and figure your maintenance, and then knowing that improving your body improving your body composition does not necessarily require fat loss. You could need to just focus on that muscle growth element.
Yeah, I love that. And you are too humble to promote yourself, so I'll go ahead and do it for you. Hope is an incredible registered dietitian, and you do take clients, right?
Absolutely.
So if you need help with this, if you're struggling with this and you're confused, Hope works with Evel members all the time, and she's an Evel member herself, so she understands what workouts you're doing if you're an Evel member and can really help you with a plan if you're like, this is confusing, or if you're trying it on your own and you're struggling. So I highly recommend if you're dealing with this issue or really any other issue and you're having troubles coming to conclusions on your own, working with Hope. And we can put your website and Instagram and everything in the show notes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, this wraps up our little Ask an RD segment with Hope. These were so fun. If you haven't listened to the last 5 or so episodes, go back and listen because they were all so good. I learned so much. And so thank you, Hope, for being here.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.